Hey, what's good? Lady Champ is a breakdancer from Chicago. She has incredible stories about growing up in Chicago, becoming a breakdancer, and how she lost the ability to walk. You know how hard it is to be a breakdancer when you can't even walk? Recently, she was the voice that brought Gladys to life in my animated short called Don't Box Me In. We're going to talk to Lady Champ about her dancing career, and we're also going to learn why you should always wear flip flops in public showers. I'm going to be working on some warm up sketches before we get into it. Remember to go to coconutjustice.com to get you some clothes that I think would look good on you. Let's go. And as promised, here she is, everybody, Lady Champ.
Yo, yo, yo. What up, yo?
Yay!
How you
So
doing?
if you don't know, my girl Lady Champ came and she helped me out with some voices for the animation that hopefully you guys watched. Don't box me in. You guys say hi to Lady Champ.
Hi. By the way, I love playing the box. I loved it.
Yeah. Um, Gladys. Gladys was
hmm
fun. Gladys was
Gladys
fun.
was amazing and so adorable. And everyone says she looks like me. I was like, what?
Because she's brown. Oh no, she's
She got
actually
me.
she's the one light skin. She's light skin. She's light skin.
Everyone says she looks like me, and I was like, man, he's good because I don't think he was looking at me when he came up with her. You know, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
No, I was
Um,
honored. I will do it again if you need anything. I will do it again.
Hell yeah, it's gonna happen. Um, and if you don't know, a lot of times when I'm doing my foolishness, whether it's a music video, whether it's an animation or whatever it is, I try really hard to get all my Chicago folks wrapped up in it because we
Oh,
have. I'm convinced we have. There's something in the water in Chicago where everyone has an incredible talent,
yes.
and so I try to find it because I'm always getting into something. So I try to find it. And
Yes.
you and I met um, at a not at a, but we did a podcast for Midway documentary,
Mm-hmm.
if you remember. And then
Yes.
you had told your whole story, and it stuck in my head because your story is very incredible. So share with everyone kind of your journey. Actually, even before we get into all that, let's go into how did you get into hip hop and breakdancing and all that stuff? Because Lady Champ is a breakdancer. Sorry, I should have said that
Yeah.
earlier, but
Yes, not only am I a breakdancer, I'm inducted into the Hip Hop Hall of Fame, the Breaking Hall of Fame. I
let's
got inducted in
go. Pa, 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 pa.
2023. Yup.
That's
So,
cool.
I did it. It was I was just, I didn't even know how to act. I was just like, is this real? Like, man, everything I worked for, everything, all those dues I put in, like everything worked out for me.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I'm gonna show everyone. I have your Instagram account up. And I'm gonna
And
show everyone that's don't box me in. There's the brown box is Frank and the mail carrier is Gladys. And so I did Frank's voice and Lady Champ did Gladys's voice and it was a lot of fun. Anyway,
it was so fun.
um okay, so how'd you get into breakdancing and hip hop and stuff?
Um, when I was little, we would stay with my dad for the summer, but like for 2 weeks or something in New York,
Mm-hmm.
in the Mecca. And then I remember my
What
aunts
part
took
of New
us to the
York is your
pizzeria,
dad from?
Washington Heights, where all the Dominicans live, because I'm half Dominican.
Me too. Well, a
No
quarter.
way!
I'm a quarter Dominican, yeah. My dad is from
Wow,
Cuba, and then my mom is Puerto Rican and Dominican by New York, by way of New York.
that's insane.
Yeah. Besties.
Wow, I'm saying we're like siblings.
The rats and the
We're
dragons.
basically we're basically siblings. Whoa. So we would go to the fruteria, and one day we were walking back, and there's some guys dancing,
Yeah.
three guys. And I don't know what they were doing, but they looked so cool. Not only the dances they were doing, which was breaking and popping,
Uh-huh.
but the outfits they had on, because you had to look cool. You couldn't just be dressed like whatever. So
Right.
I remember
Right.
they looked cool. And then they had like this like this certain kind of confidence or attitude, about them,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and like I know my skill and I'm showing off my talent, and I was like, and I was taking it in. I was like, what? So I stood staring at them. I actually stopped walking, and my aunt, she yanked my arm, and she's like, don't look at them, they're bad. And in my
Yeah.
heart, as a little kid, I knew they weren't bad. I just knew they
Yeah.
weren't bad.
Yeah.
And I remember that image is like burned into my head. So I come back to Chicago, and my older cousins uh, are breaking, but they're breaking on the corner of Sawyer and North Avenue in a cardboard.
Yeah.
And they were good. And I was like, oh my God, please teach me, please. I had my little hands crossed, like when you fold them out together. And I was like, please, please teach me, please. And they were like, get out of here. You're a girl. And I was like, yeah, but I promise I'll practice. I'll learn. I promise, please. They were like, get out of here. So they didn't teach me. So we used to pretend to break with the kids in the neighborhood. I used to be good at drills, like head spin drills,
Yeah.
and a little bit of popping, but nobody really was good, and the little kids weren't really good.
Yeah.
So went away. Um, then in the 90s, it came back, and I was house dancing at that time, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, then breaking came back, so I was like, ooh, I'm gonna learn, and no one can tell me no now. Now I'm grown. You can't tell me no.
Hell yeah.
So I went to a battle at Roosevelt High School,
That's where I went to school.
and shut up.
Shout out Rough Riders.
I swear this is crazy. I didn't go there. I went to Covent Park, but I was always at Roosevelt because that's where my crew was.
Yeah.
So I battled I believe the crew was the house crew. What the heck is their name? The Untouchables.
Untouchables.
I battled Untouchables, but we were young back then.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
remember but I was battling house music. So one would go in, I would go after him. One would go in, I would have go after him. One would go in, I'd call out the other guy. Like I was going in. I was going in on these guys. The crowd was going crazy. They're like, this girl doesn't stop. So I don't know if they ran out of moves, but they stopped. And then
Yeah.
in the middle of the circle, one of them came and he got on his knees and he kissed my hand. And all the girls were like, girl, he's fine. And I was like, I ain't about that life. I just want to win. I won. I
Yeah.
won.
Yeah.
So
Got
then
him.
I thought I was dope, man. My best friend, she was going to this school. So I went to another circle and I saw the B-boys and I was like, I was like, oh my God. So and then she was talking to them, like, oh yeah, these are my friends from school. I was like, you need to introduce me. And
Yeah.
then she introduced me and they were like, yo, girl, you're fucking dope. And I was like, well, I want to learn how to break. Can you teach me? And that was it. I became Chicago Champions Crew.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Roughly what time frame was this?
This was 1992.
1992.
This was
Okay.
hmm this was
That was
1992.
just after that was just after I graduated in 89.
Yes,
And I
yes.
remember even when I was in high school, um, like house music was where it was at, and everybody
hmm
listened to house music. Everybody.
And
And it's
Chicago's
funny
house music
because
hits different.
hell yeah, it does. Hell yeah, it does. It's everywhere. And then
hmm
especially back then, because house music was it, and hip
hmm
hop was still in its infancy.
hmm
And I remember trying to listen to hip hop music, and all the Puerto Ricans were like, "Nah, nah, 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 nah. It's it's house
I'm not
music.
gonna lie
It,
though.
it's
I
house
remember
music."
I remember people from New York would buy the house music cassettes from here because our
Yeah.
house music was not like anybody else.
Right.
So I remember like our shit was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's yeah. what do you think the major differences between dancing to house music and dancing to hip hop?
Mm, the house music, I feel like it, well, in a way, it wasn't different because for me, I wanted to battle, so I was always like
Right.
trying to battle somebody, you know.
Yeah.
So, but as the dance, I feel like the house dancing just flowed more
Hmm.
versus the hip hop was like I had to be like hardcore, like I had to be like because if I'm gonna battle a dude, I have to break like a dude, you know. So I had to be
Sure.
like a little different versus when I was house dancing that I could just be myself and just be like da da with my feet like, and still be cute outy, you know.
Yeah.
With breaking, I had to be lady champ, you know. I had to demand respect when I would go into the circles, you know.
Yeah.
I had to earn it, like, you know. So it was different in that way. Like I had to be hard, tough.
Oh, you hung out with Pinky Ring. She's cool as hell
Yeah,
too.
he is awesome. He's amazing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the dance is different as in just the character you play.
Yeah. I worked at the Kmart right there on Addison
Oh yeah.
and
And it's still there.
Kimball.
Yes,
Is it still there?
it's still there.
Hell
I
yeah.
saw it not that long
Standing
ago and I was like,
strong.
I even said, damn, that shit is still there. I even
every time
said
I
that.
every time I come home, I go by that because my sister still lives in roughly that neighborhood. But I drive by and I'm like, yeah, shout out Kmart.
See, if you
I
were
was in
working there, you still have a job.
I was nighttime shift at the pharmacy department, so
Hey,
I'd make sure everyone had the right toilet paper that was on sale and stuff.
you worked hard, I know.
But when I was there, like, I was always a shy kid. You know, I have a strict mom, and being out in the streets was not a thing that was in my future.
Yeah,
At least not at that point.
yeah.
But I remember feeling the pressure because those cute girls that worked there too. A lot of them were from Calvin Park, but
Hey.
and they're just like they're adding pressure, like the fact that I was a Latino, and I wasn't outed like the house parties and stuff like that. Like I was getting mad pressure. I was like, you guys don't understand my mother.
Oh, oh. And our mothers are tough, man. My mom is still tough.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, don't you get nicer like as you get older?
Was your mom supportive with your dancing career?
It's weird because it's I would say no. I'm gonna say no because
No.
it's it's like it was good for a pastime, you know. But
Yeah.
now that I'm grown, oh, you're grown, and even then, you're like, you know. And then, but yet, when people come up to me, oh my God, you're Lady Champ, she's like, yes, and I'm Mama Champ, and I'm like, hold up, you just said you didn't like it, and now you're Mama Champ, girl. And she likes when I go out and people are like, oh my God, Lady Champ, you know. So
Yeah.
she likes that. Yeah, it's weird.
Where did the name Lady Champ come from?
Um, so since I was crew, everybody
Mm-hmm.
had like their little aliases. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, I need my little alias. I want to be known like, in some crazy, weird, cool way, you know? So then I was talking with one of the guys in the crew and I was like, yeah, I want my name to be like girly, but I want it to be hardcore, but I wanted to represent Chicago and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to represent the champions.
Yeah.
So we were thinking, we were coming up with all weird types of names. And then I was like, you know what I like? I like Trinity because I feel like I could show myself, the city, and my crew.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking Trinity's dope, you know? And then the Matrix I think came out or was yeah, I think at that time the Matrix came out. So it
Mm.
had Trinity in it.
Yeah.
So then I we were still talking and I go, no, but I want it to be something more girly, kind of like Champ, Lady Champion, Lady Champ. Lady
Yeah.
Champion, and I kept saying that, and that's it. That's where we kept it, and I kept saying it, Lady Champ. Lady champion.
Lady champ?
Yeah, and it fits. It fits me. I feel like I'm competitive. I'm funny. I'm crazy. I
Yeah.
overcame paralysis, and that makes me a champion. Like I feel like it fits me.
Yeah. Let's talk about that now that you brought that up. Like, so you're in the heat of your battling and your dancing and all the good stuff.
Hmm.
And then, what happened to where paralysis set in?
So at that point in my life, it was 2007. I was traveling like crazy. They were flying me out everywhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even being flown out to battle. I was being flown out to judge, speak on panels, because I already had made my name.
Yeah.
And I went and I was boxing at the same time. I was training to go pro. So I was training
What?
with Yeah, I was training with Vitaly Capico. He trains with Vitaly Klitschko. Um,
Okay.
and
I've heard
so
of
we
him.
train in the same gym.
Yeah.
So I went up to him and I go, because I saw him training, and I go, "Can you teach me? I always wanted to fight." And then he was like, "Yeah." And he saw me breaking and he was like, "Hell yeah." He goes, "You come here tomorrow at this time." I was there every fucking day, whenever he needed me, I was there. I
Yeah.
was there. And everything came easy to me because number one, I used to fight. And obviously I didn't
Yeah.
have technique. I didn't know there was technique like that. So I had to learn it
Oh
because I used
yeah.
to just fight. And
Yeah.
then he he had me running on the treadmill. I mean, I was running fast. He would throw that medicine ball in my abs. He would have us walking. You know how they hold your feet and you walk your hands, even though I would walk
Yeah.
on my hands anyways, like by myself.
Yeah.
Um, he was like, "You're amazing. Like you're catching everything so fast." And I'm like, "Yeah, because it's like dancing, but different."
Yeah.
So he was about to take me to go to meet Don King because he wanted me to go pro. He had me fighting guys and everything.
Damn.
Um, yeah, so I was like, man, if if the breaking doesn't work, I could still do this because the boxing, I have so much love for it because it
Yeah.
like your adrenaline is like rushing. You're just like you feel like a beast, man. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing. Then when you
Yeah.
already know the techniques and you just I was in love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So um I was really really busy at that point in my life. So we were in the middle of moving and the house that we were in didn't have hot water. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a shower at the gym before I go to work. And then I'll go to my mom's house after work because she's gonna have my kids there after school. So I went to take a shower at the gym. I didn't have sandals on and I had cuts on my feet. I had athlete's foot. I had cuts on my feet.
Oh yeah.
I never knew that you were supposed to wear sandals like in places like that, anywhere
Yeah.
that there's sitting water.
Yep.
And I had no clue. And I only
Oh.
did it once.
Yep.
And right after that, I moved and I started getting like weird symptoms. So that night, well that week I went to Sub T because I used to go to Sub T Tuesdays religiously. That was my church, man. We would go in there
Yeah.
and break for hours. So I mean, I'm not even kidding. Me and my boy Tech, we would break for hours, and then when it got packed, we just kicked it and watched the people, the MCs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that day he picked me up and I go, "Bro, I can't break." Every time I was trying to break, I had a real bad throbbing headache, like at
Oh.
the on my right temple.
Yeah.
And it gave me chills running down my spine. And I told him something's wrong, bro. I gotta go home. So he's like, "All right." So we left that day. That night I was itching, like my stomach was itching, and I was like, "That's weird." I moved to a new place. Maybe I got bit by a spider. Didn't think nothing of it. Um, then that week there was like weird symptoms. Like I was walking, it felt like I was walking on hot sand. I had hives everywhere and I'm not allergic to anything. I mean, there was so many signs, but my dumbass, because I never got sick, I didn't go to the doctor. I was like, yeah, whatever it is, it'll just pass. Because I was
Yep.
so healthy. I swear I was so healthy.
Yeah.
So I go
Especially if you're
to,
breaking and boxing and
yeah,
like you're
I
in
had
shape.
I had a six pack at that point. I had my arms were cut up. Even my legs had the little cut right here that that cute cut. I was like,
On
damn.
the Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was looking cute. I'm not even gonna lie. So that week I went to work and I'm usually like this, like, oh my God, hi, good morning. I say good morning to everyone at work. I talk to everyone. And that day I came in, I just sat at my desk with my head down and
Yeah.
everybody was like, are you okay? Everybody. And I was like, yeah, I just think something's wrong. You know what? I told my manager, I'm gonna go to the hospital. Because at that
Yeah.
point, I was dragging my feet and I had a pain in my tummy. So I drive myself to the hospital, not realizing that I should have went to a trauma center. I went to a regular hospital,
Yeah.
and I I I couldn't even get out the car. I had to like lift myself out the car, go up my hands, walk across the parking lot. I every car had my handprint on it because I was dragging myself like like
Oh,
holding onto
that
each
sounds
car.
terrible.
I get through the bridge because there's a bridge you got to get to. Then you got to go all the way around for the to the ER. I just was holding onto the wall. Nobody stopped me. Nobody asked me if I needed help. I didn't even ask for help. So I
Yeah.
get there. He goes, "Oh, you just have allergies." I go, "I can't walk, dude, and my stomach
Allergies.
hurts." Yeah. He goes, because remember I had a lot of hives coming in and out, and I
Yeah.
was like, "This, I'm not allergic to anything though. I'm trying to tell you, like something's wrong." He goes, "I'll just take urine and blood," and he took urine, blood. He goes, "Everything looks good. You're good to go." And I was like, "You're gonna
Oh,
send me
hell to
home?"
the no.
I go, "I can't walk." He goes, "I think it's worse." And I'm not even kidding when I tell you that's how he was talking. I think it's worse. Just come back. And I was like, hell no. In my head, I was like, I'm gonna go somewhere else, you
For
know?
real.
So, so at this point, I don't even know how I got to the car. I swear to you that, and it got to the point on the way where the bridge is, there's a chair, and I kept collapsing,
Collapsing. Uh-huh.
collapsing on the bridge and on the chair. I kept falling. I couldn't stand. And then there was a man and his kids, and then the lady at the desk, and they were like, "What the fuck is wrong with that girl?" And I just kept like
My
standing up
legs
and
don't work.
collapsing into the chair. Yeah, like somebody please help me. So I'm glad I didn't stay in that hospital because I would have
Yeah.
probably died. Honestly, I would have probably
Uh,
died. So I get
where
to the
was the
car, I get
hospital?
to my
What
house.
what neighborhood? What neighborhood was that hospital in?
Resurrection Hospital on Addison Central.
Oh,
If you
okay.
look up the reviews, it's horrible. A lot of
Mm.
people just die there because they're horrible. They're horrible.
Mm.
And I should have went to St. Mary's or University of Chicago or
Yeah.
there's another hospital. There's another hospital. Uh, and I didn't. I went to that one. So I get home, and my brother at this time was my roommate, our roommate, me and my kids, and I parked in front, and I couldn't get out the car at this point.
Oh.
So he comes from work coincidentally. He parks like behind me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm going upstairs. Can you help me?" He's like, "Yeah, come on." And I'm like, "No, no, you need to help me get out the car." He's like,
you need
"Huh?"
to you need to give me a
Dude,
piggyback ride.
he takes me out of the car and I have my arm around his shoulder and my
Yeah.
legs are dragging. And he's like, "What's going on?" I go, "I
Oh.
don't know." So we get upstairs and I just go to the room and I'm in my daughter's room
Yeah.
and because it's the closest one to the bathroom. And my kids were with their dad. So he calls and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna drop off the kids." And I go, "Who are you with?" He goes, "My brother." I go, can you come upstairs and get me and take me to the hospital?" He's like, "Yeah, just come down." I go, "You're gonna have to come up." He was like, "What?" He didn't get it, right? He's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." So then he got there and he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I go, "I don't know. Can you drop me off at what is that other hospital? Swedish Covenant.
I used to
Because he
work
lived
there.
by. Oh, really?
Yeah.
He lived right by there. So I was like, we used to break over there. That's where we learned to break Northside and Kedzie and
Nice.
Argyle. Um,
Yeah.
so I went to that hospital. He just left me in the wheelchair and he left. And then as I'm registering, the lady's like, "Wait, what do you mean you can't walk?" And I go, "I can't walk. And my stomach hurts." And she's like, "Okay." So she goes and I guess she asked them like she's not hurt, but she can't
Yeah.
walk. So they took me in right away. I thought I
Yeah.
was gonna be there forever. And they take me in right away and the nurse is like, "What's going on?" And I told her and she's like, "But what do you mean you can't walk?" And I'm like, "I can't walk." And she's like, and I kept saying my stomach hurts too. She goes, "Can I do a pap smear?" And I was like, "Yeah." So she does a pap smear and she's just screaming at this point, "I need an MRI. I need a CAT scan. I need
Oh, damn.
a catheter and this and that. She goes, when was the last time you used the bathroom? I go, man, I don't even know because I've been busy like working with all this. She
Yeah.
goes, you haven't peed for hours. You could have died. You could have went into shock. And I was like, what? So she goes, I go, I went to a hospital. He sent me home. She goes, he sent you home? Like this? She was so mad. So they
Yeah.
take me, they do the MRI, the CAT scan, and right when they get the MRI results, they start me on antibiotics and steroids. So I
Whoa.
caught something from that sitting water that infected my spinal cord and is working its way up. So it took out
Whoa.
one leg and then it took out my other leg and then it took out my bladder and they stopped it at my rib cage because it was working its way up. So I could have died if I would have stood at that hospital. They wouldn't know what to
God, no.
do. They wouldn't have treated me and I would have died.
Yeah.
And so I was in that hospital for like 2 weeks, and they sent me in an ambulance to University of Chicago where I got to work with the neurologist, the specialist.
Yeah.
And they were like, dude, we don't understand what's wrong with you. You're so healthy. Like, we don't even know what's wrong with you. And then I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? You're like the doctor. You're supposed to tell me what's wrong with me. Like, if you don't
Exactly.
know, I don't know. That's for
I
sure, you know?
definitely don't know.
Yeah, so they couldn't tell me, and I was just like, man, I'm like in limbo. I'm like in the middle of nowhere with nothing. I have nothing. I can't even tell you I got a cold. I can't tell you nothing. I don't know what I got.
Yeah.
So they treated me there for like about another 2 weeks. And at this point, they told me they came into my room. The doctor came in with his students, and he's like, hey, I just want to let you know that you're never going to walk again. And I was like,
Ooh.
do you know who I am? He's like, yes, Miss Nunez. He looked at the chart. He's like, Miss Nunez. I go, I'm Lady Champ. I'll be walking in 2 weeks. He's like, you don't know how severe this is. And I go, no, you don't know who I am. And he's like, he kept looking at the chart. And he was like, no, like, you don't know, like, seriously. And I was like, whatever. So then from there, they sent me to in an ambulance to Sherwin, no, not Schwab Rehab Center,
Okay.
and on Ogden in California. And that's where I went to go live to learn how to live in a wheelchair. So I lived there for like about a month.
God damn.
And they taught me how to cook on the wheelchair. I had to get on the bus, like go outside, get on the bus, go to Jewel, do my groceries. I had to learn how to get on and off the toilet, get in and out the car. Like I learned how to live in a wheelchair. And because of breaking, because I always used to watch and learn, I
Yeah.
was so good that I was doing tricks on my wheelchair. I learned how to play basketball because I was going to join the Paralympics. So they had a basketball court. I was playing basketball. I was racing on the wheelchair because my arms are real strong because I'm breaking in boxing.
Yeah.
So I was gonna join the Paralympics, and Red Bull was gonna be my sponsor. They were like, "Oh, whatever you want, Lady Champ, we'll pay for everything." So I was ready to go. And then when I got to the rehab center, I started getting movements. They did no, at University of Chicago, they did 5 plasma exchanges because my body was ice cold from the waist down,
Yeah.
and now my body's warm. And then I was able to get some kind of movement back, but I still have issues. Like my knees are still weak. I can't feel my toes yet. I still have
Yeah.
bladder issues. So if I have to go to the bathroom, I'll be like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like I can't talk to you. I gotta go. I'll talk to you when I come back. Um, and thank God that it didn't keep going up because it probably would have stopped my heart or my brain, like I don't know.
So
So
did they ever
I
tell
feel
you what it
blessed.
was? Was it a staph infection? Was it like a sepsis? Did they say?
So they couldn't figure it out. They never told me. So I was always stuck like great. Like when I lived at Schwab Rehab Center, it was
Yeah.
mostly gunshot victims, stab victims, heart attack and stroke patients. And,
Jesus.
and so they could all relate to each other. I was the only awkward one there. And I was like, great, like I don't have no one to share my story with or,
Not for
who
anything, but at the
understands me.
even at the rehab center you stood out.
I did. Actually, I did. No, and I'm going to tell you, I feel like I was meant to be there. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know who I was supposed to help, but the therapist that she used to speak to like her little groups of people. Like, she'll have like one day, like diabetes groups, another day, whatever. She had just had like, little groups. She's like, can you speak at my classes? And I was like, yeah, sure. I don't know
Of
what I was
course.
speaking about, but I went in there and I was like, oh yeah, and this and that. And you know what? All you have to do is change your diet. If you eat like strawberries instead of French fries or potato chips, you'd be like this, or instead of this, you could substitute with that. And the
Yeah.
people were just like they were just mind blown. She goes, you
Yeah.
need to teach all my classes. And she goes, and you need to do this for a living. You need to be a speaker. And I was like, oh, sure. So I taught all her classes. And then when I would do my rehab, we did it in a giant room we could all see each other.
Yeah.
And I remembered people were always watching me because every time I would go in there, I would say good morning to each patient. And there was like 20 patients and each doctor. And they would watch me. And the next day, at first when I got there, they were like, I'll be like, good morning. They're like, hey. And then by the second, third day, they were like, hi, good morning, Miss Nunez. Hi, good morning. Oh my God, I saw you working so hard yesterday. So I worked harder. My therapy, it was insane. But there was
Yeah.
this one day, it was insane. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm gonna describe it the way I felt it.
Yeah.
This one day, I was learning to go from like you're sitting on your butt on the floor, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then I had to lift myself onto the chair so I could sit on the chair, right?
Okay.
And I kept trying it and I kept trying it, but I was falling short. And I
Yeah.
kept trying and I was getting frustrated, but I knew I could do it. I knew I could. And then the therapist was like, it's okay. It's okay. We'll just end it there. We'll continue tomorrow. I go, no, 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 no. I got this. I got this.
I'm
Just
Lady
give me,
Champ.
yeah, because I'm trying to figure out like how high my butt has to go to
Yeah.
because I was getting close. So I knew, there's technique to this. So I was like, wait, I got this, I got this. So I kept trying. And then I was at the floor, I came up and I landed it. And I was so happy, right? So as I'm being happy, the entire room starts clapping. Everybody in the room is clapping. They're like, she did it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I turned red and I don't usually get embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I turned red. And as they were clapping, this is weird. And I know it's weird, but this is what I felt. As they were clapping, because they were clapping for a long time,
Yeah.
I could feel like energy coming into my chest, like
Ooh.
little arrows coming into
Yeah.
my chest and going back out to them. And it was just like the weirdest thing ever. Like ever, I don't think I've ever felt that again.
Yeah.
But it was like they were giving me their energy and I was giving it right back to them.
Hell yeah.
And everybody was clapping and I was like, oh my God, they watched me. And for sure, after that day, they would be like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, yeah. So that was, and then when I went home in a wheelchair still. I still wasn't
Yeah.
walking. And when I went
Jesus.
home, I took breathing classes on YouTube. I took meditation classes on YouTube, those little free classes.
Hell yeah.
I learned
YouTube
how to
University.
meditate. Uh-huh. So because I was getting frustrated. I was like, I would try to stand and I would collapse, stand and fall, stand and fall. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, okay, you got to breathe, girl, because you're going to make yourself so overworked and mad that you're not going to want to keep trying.
Right.
And I learned that from breaking. So I was like, let me just walk away. And at that time it was like spring. So I was looking out the window and you see the birds flying and then you'll see like the wind blowing the trees and it would just calm me down. And then I go back at it like gangster.
Yeah.
And then one day I stood for 1 second. I stood up and I was like, oh my
That's
God,
it.
if I did one, I could do two. So I went from
Definitely
one
do
to two
too.
seconds, and
Yeah.
then from 2 to 5, from 5 to 7, 7 to 9. And then from right there, I called, I'm crazy, I swear. From right there, I called the wheelchair company and I said, you could come get your wheelchair. I don't need it anymore.
Come
And they
get
were
this
like,
shit.
no, no, like you need it. And I was like, no, I don't need it. And they were like, and I said, no, just come pick it up. So they came and
Yeah.
picked it up. So what I did is, no, I didn't call them yet because I was standing. So now I know I could stand for 5 seconds. So I started taking like one step and I
Yeah.
would fall and somebody would follow me with the wheelchair, usually my kids or my brother or somebody.
Yeah.
And then I would fall into the chair and I was like, I could do 2 steps. I know I can. If I could stand already for 10 seconds, I could do it. So I was
Yeah.
like 1 step and then 2 steps. And I was like, oh my God, I got 2 steps. And then from 2 steps to, 5 steps. So then that's when I called the wheelchair company. So at that point, I put chairs all over my house. So I would get from the bed to the chair, from that chair to the another chair, from the other chair to the other chair, from the chair to the bathroom. That's how I
Yeah.
lived for a little while. And as I got stronger, I would take out one chair, or I would try to push myself and take
Yeah.
out one chair. And
Yeah.
man, I fell a lot of times, almost fucking busted my head, and it was bad. It was dangerous, but I did it.
Yeah.
And then I would sit on the floor, and it felt like I could break because I was like, man, I feel like I could break right now. And then I was like, man, this is kind of tricking my mind, thinking that I can break. If I
Yeah.
feel that I can, I'm gonna be able to. So
Yeah.
I would just sit on the floor, whoa, whoa, and then and then um, I joined the gym. I still had a cane and everything.
Yeah.
I joined the gym, and I could only do like 2 minutes on the treadmill, and and I don't care. I still went to the gym to do 2 minutes on the treadmill,
Yeah.
and I was doing it at 0.2 or something. Like it wasn't even moving. And I worked my way to five, 0.5, 0.7,
Yeah.
10. And then I would go into the little gym room, and I would start like doing little movements of breaking.
Yeah.
And that helped me a lot with my balance, because my balance was real bad. I'm telling you, this is all crazy. Now that I hear it, it's so
Yeah.
crazy. Because I did that. I did all that.
Yeah. You have to be
Wow.
crazy because a doctor literally told you, "No, girl, you're
That's
never
true.
gonna walk again," and you said, "Nah, we good.
Yeah,
That's
that's
not how
true.
we're going to. That's not how we're gonna do this."
I had something to prove, not only to myself, to him, to the world.
Yeah.
And even if, a lot of people question me on this, what if you didn't walk again? Well, if I didn't walk again, I was going to join the Paralympics. And
Yeah.
I was also going to, because people are like, well, you can't breathe. I go, it's okay. At this point right now, I'm not even breaking, because yeah, I was breaking. I was
I
so
got
good, but
chairs
I was
all
just,
over the house. I'm gonna break
yeah,
something.
yeah. But think about it. I told you earlier that I wasn't even breaking. I was already judging and speaking on panels. So I didn't have to do none of that. So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I could throw events, I could do this and that. And people were just like, this bitch, you have to answer for everything. Like, I wasn't discouraged. I didn't care. I wasn't sad. I wasn't mad. Except
Yeah.
one day. One day I did cry.
Yeah. It got
One day it was
frustrating.
Mother's Day.
Oh.
No, it's just that this is when they sent me to the rehab center where I had to live for a
Uh-huh.
month.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go home. I was tired. I had
Yeah.
kids. Thank God for
Yeah.
their dad and my mom. They would bring them to me almost every day. But I just wanted to go home. I'm tired of
Yeah.
getting my arms pulled, my hands pulled. I just want to go
Mm-hmm.
home. And then so that day, it was Mother's Day, and I cried from the morning to the nighttime. And the doctor came in. He goes, "You know what you need?" And I'm thinking he's gonna be like, "Yeah, pep talk." He goes, "You need all these pills. I got good pills." And I was like, "You better
Oh
get out of
boy.
my room before I
Yeah.
beat your ass, and don't ever offer me pills again." And he ran, and I never seen him again. Never. And after that day, I guess I needed to get it out of my system. I didn't cry yet, or I didn't have any emotion yet.
Yeah.
And after that, I was ready to fight. I was fighting.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That is
Oh,
wild.
so yeah. So I didn't find out till 2014. This happened in 2007.
Dang.
My kids, their doctor, which was my doctor, he retired, the pediatrician,
Yeah.
and he was my doctor when I was a baby, and then he was my kids' doctor when they were babies.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the day that the week he retired, I changed my kids to a doctor at Sharice Covenant. Great
Mm-hmm.
doctor, amazing. That's still their doctor. Um,
Nice.
so you know how you have to fill out the form that says like, oh, what do your mom, the diseases your mom or your grandparents have, or your dad,
Yeah.
and then I put on there what happened to me, and then he goes, huh, and I was like, okay, and
What
he's
do you
like,
mean, huh?
can I ask you a question? And I go, yeah. He goes, did they tell you what happened to you? And I go, no, I still to this day have no clue. They said that I was so healthy they couldn't figure it out. He goes, huh. And I'm like, okay. He goes, can I ask you another question? Oh, yeah. He goes, were you swimming or taking a shower like at a gym or something? And I
Huh.
go, yeah. He goes, did you have a cut in your foot?
Ooh.
And I go, yeah, I had athlete's foot. He goes, that's where you got it from. He goes, you caught an infection from the sitting water,
Yeah.
and that's what did that to you. And as soon as he said it, everything just like blew my mind because
Yeah.
it made the most fucking common sense, you know? And
Yeah.
then I was like, that's fucking crazy. If I would have wore sandals, I would have fucking still had my regular life just from that.
Yep.
That's insane. Mm-mm-mm.
That's when I was in basic training, that's one of the first things they taught us. Don't go
See, I never
into,
learned that.
yeah. I didn't learn it until I was in basic training. And that's
But you
just
didn't know it,
because
right? When you lived in the hood or anything, you didn't know it.
not really, not really. Like if you think about it, like imagine, it's summertime in Chicago and someone opens up one of those water plugs, one of the
Mm-hmm.
fire, one of the fire hydrants, like
Mm-hmm.
that's the water might be somewhat clean coming out of there, but you're sliding
The
down the
streets are
street and
dirty.
shit.
Yeah. We live some dangerous life. Oh my God.
Right?
I didn't even think about that. That is insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So,
and that's what happened. That little thing changed my entire life.
yeah, it
Isn't that
definitely
crazy?
spiced it up. Definitely spiced it
Yeah.
up because
Yep.
that story alone, just the fact that, and I say this with cariño, um,
Mm-hmm.
you're hard headed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Very.
good, and it's good
Yeah.
that you are.
Yes.
Because you know how many people would have just been like, well, the doctor said I'm gonna be in this thing for the rest of my life, and then
I
that's it.
couldn't. I had kids. I had to try. And even if, like I said, even if I didn't try, I was gonna do something. I was not just gonna be
Yeah.
like, oh well, I can't walk and my life is over. I was gonna be like, oh yeah, I'll do this. Oh yeah, I'll stick in the center. Oh yeah, I'll travel here. Oh yeah, maybe there. I was still gonna, I was still gonna live. I was still gonna live.
Yeah,
So when
for
people they're
sure.
like, oh well, like you had to because you weren't gonna, and I'm like, I'm still gonna live. Like your life isn't over.
Right.
Your life is what you make it, and I wasn't gonna make mine over.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. In a way.
But I
Especially because
inspired
I
my
think,
kids.
again, like comparing the similarities between you growing up and me growing up, I was like that too. I used to get in trouble for not being able to sit still.
Yeah, that's me. And
Right?
daydreaming in class, I got in trouble every single day. Miss Nunez, why are you daydreaming in class in school? And I'll be like, huh? What? In my head, I was having a blast. Oh, that's what I
Same.
wanted to talk to you about too. Remind me later. I want to talk to you, or I can tell you now. I want
Do
to.
it.
I don't know if you believe in like manifesting and all that stuff,
I do.
but I want to write a book,
Mm-hmm.
but about it because I always had it in my mind, but I never did it. But I want, I want to do it something like this, like like I want you to close your eyes and then, like I'm gonna give you this
Okay.
lime or lemon, and
Okay.
then I want you to think about it and bite it. And what do you think? What do you feel? What do you see?
When I bite the lemon,
Yeah.
I know what biting into a lemon tastes like because I've done it in real life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking
The,
like when I bite into it, like the colors change in my brain. The colors change to yellow and like you know.
but doesn't your face change? Because it's gonna be sour. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to touch people's senses. Like I want to mess with people's senses in a good way. Like
Sure.
because we were never taught this as kids. I think if we were taught this, I think we could do things beyond what we're taught we could.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think your senses are really important, and people don't really realize that.
Yeah. And not just that, but people don't realize how powerful your thoughts are,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
so you're a perfect example. You're like, no, this isn't gonna be how, and you put your brain to I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
walk. My first
Mm-hmm.
my first step for the rest of the life, if for the rest of my life, is to learn how to walk again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize how much power convincing yourself of something is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially if you grew up like us, where you're in the inner city and everything is
Mm-hmm.
dangerous, and your mom is like, "No, don't touch this, don't do that, don't go
And we
here,
still
don't
do
go
it.
there." Me
We
too.
still did it.
That's why we got in trouble all the time.
Hmm. I was like, please don't tell me to do stuff, not to do stuff because I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
But I
And
wanted, I
and
wanna.
and so I have a friend of mine now that he called me up and he's like, "Bro, I want to write this song." And he went to school for music production and stuff. But he wanted to write a song. And he's a hip hop guy, but he wanted to do like a Mexican bolero type, like
Hey, okay,
Vicente Fernandez kind of.
okay,
And
I'm
so
impressed.
yeah. And so I'm talking to him and I'm like, "Look, bro, you just get out of your own head and just start writing down how you feel. You don't have to
Ooh.
share it with anybody. You don't have, because dudes writing emotional songs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's silliness that comes with that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him, do it by yourself. So then that way, like if you cry, you cry. Nobody sees you. That's just how it is,
Wow.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he came back a few days later. He's like, "Oh, I got the rough idea for my song, but I don't know anyone who um who sings that well and all this other stuff." And I was like, "Boy, down in LA, I got some family down there and they do karaoke night almost every weekend."
That's
And I
me.
and I remember my niece's husband's family, they all came over and they were singing boleros and Mexican style music, and
Mm-hmm.
they were singing their asses off,
And look at how that goes with that story. That's insane.
right?
If you
And so
look,
I then
you
and
shall
so then I
find.
was like, and so then I'm like, hang on, let me make a call. And now we're actually working on we're getting close to finishing the song. And it's not if you convince yourself that you cannot do it, you are correct.
Mm-hmm.
But
Either one. If you can convince yourself that you are or you're not, you're gonna be or you're not gonna be.
exactly. You are
Whichever one you
100%
choose,
correct.
you
Whichever one
decide.
you are correct.
Yes, yes.
But a lot like the stories we've been hearing from Lady Champ, you just got to be hard headed and be like, no, 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 no. So I called up a couple people and now we got a singer and all that. And this dude, he was on Sábado Gigante and all kinds of stuff.
No
Yes,
way.
ma'am. So we're gonna
Oh
be
my.
we're gonna be I'm gonna be going down to LA in the next probably 2-3 weeks. We're gonna go in the studio and record this song. And
Super
a few
cool.
weeks ago, and I was making fun of my friend, and I was like, a few weeks ago, you were all in your feelings talking about, oh, I can't make this song, I can't do this song, and now you're
Surprise.
bugging me to go to LA so we can finish producing this track.
That's insane. But it's
All
so
you,
beautiful.
yeah, and that's all it is. It's like what I tell people all the time is, um, every problem, and by problem I mean whether it's one of your dreams that you're trying to accomplish, one of the, if you're writing a song, if you're doing an animation, anything like that,
Hmm.
if you just, what's the saying? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a
Hmm.
time, right?
Hmm.
If you look at the entire elephant, it's going to look like, oh, I'm
Hmm.
never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to. Instead, you break everything down into small little pieces.
Hmm.
And this dude, all he needed to do was have enough confidence in his skills to write down what he was feeling.
Hmm.
And then we went and we found this dude. Come to find out that this guy likes to write music. He likes to write lyrics and stuff like that. He likes to sing and all this stuff. So they
That's
collabed and they worked
insane.
out. They were and the new guy, he actually even rewrote some of the songs to make it feel better. Because that's
Oh my God,
that's
what a
what he's good
blessing.
at.
Oh my God, I
You know
love
what I'm
this.
saying?
Yes. Yes.
So
And I
yeah,
believe
so it's
that
yeah,
things can come to you. You just have to like call it, put it out there. Like
and don't be
I'm gonna walk
scared.
again, and I'm walking. You know.
Hell yeah. I remember, just to let all of you guys know, right after Lady Champ and I met at the recording that podcast, we were following each other on Instagram, and I remember
Mhm.
I had done a drawing of you, Lady Champ, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is
Yeah,
cute,"
it is.
and then you said, "It's always been my dream to be a voice of a
Yes.
cartoon character."
Yeah. Yeah. I did.
And for
I
me,
did.
I'm one of those people. You have to be careful with what you say to me, because I'm gonna make it happen, and I'm gonna be like, hey, we got this thing. You ready?
And you
And the
did.
and the thing that I love about you is like, if I call you,
I'm
you
down.
show up.
I'm down.
You are all the way in, and
I'm down. You
I
put
love that
me in and
about
tell
you.
me what you want, how you want it. I'm there. I'll be
Yeah,
like, okay. I want you to play this role. Okay. What else?
perfect.
Okay. Yeah, no arguing, no nothing. Just tell me what you want. And then with you, it's so fun to work with because you know how you want it. So you want to hear this like this. So you're like, no,
Hmm.
put some more excitement into it. Put like, say it like this. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. But
And
you're
it was
such a great
fun
coach.
because with you, your energy, number one, your energy level, like, is just ridiculous. And I feed off of people's energy too. I don't know
Oh,
what that's called, but like empathetic or whatever. So like,
yes,
if you come in ready to go like you were doing,
yes.
like I was like, shit, we could do this for the rest of my life. I was having
I'm
so much
serious.
fun.
Yes.
And you were asking such really good questions. You're like, so like tell me about her. Like, what's she like? And I was like, oh, she's a blah blah blah. And you guys don't know this. You guys watching this video, you guys don't know this, but like the backside of Gladys, she's got a little tattoo that says this side up.
Yes.
So
That was
so when
cute.
so when Lady Champ and I were talking, I was able to explain to her, she's mid 30s, mid 40s, right in there. She's career driven, but blah 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 and all
Yes.
this other stuff. And we had
You
that
gave me
whole
so many
conversation.
details for a cartoon. I was like, how does he have so many details for a cartoon? That is mind blowing.
And
Your
it's a lot
mind
of
is like on another level, you know?
when you're writing things like that, you have to work out the personality of the characters that are happening, right?
Yep.
And I I kind of knew everyone in this animation because I had written the script for Second City, and if you don't know, Second City is a comedy
Mm,
training
A
slash
legendary,
improv slash legendary.
legendary. Yes.
Yeah. So like
When you told me
Chevy
you went there, I
Chase
was
and
super impressed. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's
that place is
amazing.
sick. I love it. And they're breaking news to everybody. I want to do a stand-up class next. But anyway, when you're writing, you have to understand people's personality because that's what informs what they say and how they say it.
Hmm.
And I was impressed with working with you, Lady Champ, that you were asking such intelligent questions about your character, and you really did want to understand more, and you really did want to um it was like you were trying really hard to enjoy the process because I could tell that you're like this is one of my dreams come true. Like, I'm going to put my feet in
Yes.
it.
Yep. And whatever you needed, how you needed it, I was gonna do it that way. I was like, no. And I kept telling you, I don't care how long it takes. If we don't do it this day, we can do it a different day. Like we can do it. Like I know I can do it. So I
And
wasn't gonna
since
give
you're
up. There's no way.
since you're in or close to Chicago and I'm in California, I was like, whatever you got, I got that plus 2 hours.
Yeah, for real. For real. Oh my
Forever?
God.
Okay, I got forever in 2 hours.
Yes. Yes. It's funny. I didn't know like the time difference was that different.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I woke up early and I was like, oh shit, I gotta call my friend. Oh my God, it was like 5 or 6 o'clock there. And she's like, hello. And I'm like, oh my God, sorry. I forgot. I forgot. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She's like, I'll call you later when I wake up. Yeah. Yeah. Now I know better. But
That messes with me when I'm dealing with people in Florida. I just
uh,
so the Chicago rapper C4 Explosives. We just finished this music video, but he lives in
ooh,
Florida, and I live in California. We're both originally from Chicago, but that part, you know,
yeah.
that part doesn't really count because he's on one side of the coast, I'm on the other coast, and like
Yeah.
that we'd be sending each other text messages and stuff, and he'd be like, "What the hell? Like, what did?" I'm like, "Bitch, it's 3 o'clock in the morning."
For real. For real. Sometimes if I know, like, if I have to text my West Coast people or call them, I'm like, oh yeah. Honestly, I don't even know. I think it's like 3 hour difference.
Yeah,
So I like if I was to call, I'll call probably about like 11 or 12 my time.
yeah,
I
yeah.
won't
That
do that
works.
again. That's mean. But yeah, that's crazy
It's
because it's
too
real.
crazy. I'm still flipping through your Instagram. I see you got Illinois in there.
Yeah,
He was
that's my
cool. I met
DJ right
him. I
there.
met him doing the podcast too.
He's my
He's
DJ.
he's hella cool.
Yeah, all my DJs, man. My Chicago DJs are awesome.
Yeah, most deaf. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah, so cool. Um, so what do you have going on coming up? You have anything cool happening in the very near future? People need to be.
Yes. I'm speaking on a panel on Saturday. I might do another panel. I'm waiting to see if we can Zoom that panel because it's in a different country. So
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, please, I want to. And
yeah.
then, of course, Battle for
Is
the
that
Eagle
about is that
second.
about breakdancing and stuff too?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the second Sunday in August, we got Battle for the Eagle. And then I'm doing something in July in the south side of Chicago. I don't know if it's a
Is B-Boy
panel
B
or
still in charge of Battle of the Eagle? Battle for the Eagle? I
no,
know
there's
he's
a whole
part of.
bunch of us.
Okay, okay.
There's about, I'm not even kidding, there's about 20, 30 people involved. And
Yeah,
everybody does like their little parts. And
yeah.
then we have meetings as it gets closer. We have meetings every 2 weeks. And as it gets closer, we have meetings every Sunday. So we Zoom. If we can't
Oh,
make it to the
awesome.
location, we Zoom in and we just put in our thoughts, put in our ideas, put in our whatever we got going on. If I have sponsors, if I have this, if I have that, if you had this, did you get the permit? Did you do this? It's a big deal now.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I've
Battle for the
been.
Eagle is everything. Oh, and we're changing locations this year because they're remodeling the Eagle for 2 weeks. I mean, 2 years. So we might do, I'm thinking Humboldt Park, the tennis courts.
Oh, nice. And for those folks that don't know, Battle of the Eagle is kind of like it's almost like a hip hop showcase that happens in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can come and experience all the different levels of hip hop, whether it's breakdancing, graffiti, DJing, rapping,
Mm-hmm.
breakdancing, all the stuff, all the things.
It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing because it's all ages, all races, all genders. Everyone is there. We have all types of music. People, you don't even know how many people come up to me, all ages. Oh
Yeah,
my God, I've never experienced something like this. This is amazing. You
yeah.
see people dancing, and when I tell you all ages, they're dancing to Hector Lavoe, they're dancing to reggae, they're dancing
Hell
to
yeah.
hip hop, they're dancing to house music. We play everything. We have a DJ showcase, a graffiti battle, a b-boy battle, a little kids b-boy battle, a all styles battle. We have, I mean, we try to give out water, we because it's
Yeah.
hot. We have vendors, we have food vendors, and we have people selling clothes and jewelry and, like
Hell yeah.
rocks and copper and paintings, a lot of paintings. We have portal potties. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a
Yeah.
big deal. So I
Yeah.
don't know, or maybe we might be able to move it down to the floor at Logan Square because they also have the farmers market. So maybe we can,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but Battle for the Eagle, the market ends at like 12 or something or 2, and then we keep going. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do it there. So that's what I'm guessing Humboldt Park,
Yeah. Ooh, I'm gonna
but
be
it is
home
a
in
process.
I'm coming home in a couple weeks. I can't wait to go to Humboldt Park.
Oh, and
You
I
better
love that
wait.
you love
You better
Chicago.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait to get my hands on a jibarito. I can't wait.
That is just so awesome, man. You are a true Chicagoan. I can't picture myself moving unless I was to move to Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
or Dominican or Hawaii, something like that. I have to
Yeah.
be somewhere hot. And that
Yep.
I know that I will live there even if I'm bored, I'm gonna have the best time of my life because that's paradise. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at it, even the air you breathe there. I would be at a different beach every day. I learned how to
Hell yeah.
surf. Oh my God, that would be my life if I live. But I wouldn't move unless I move somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And if I did move, I would be just like you. I would be like, I'm having a party, a welcome home party for the week. Everybody come on this day. I'm gonna be there. So please, I want to see everybody. I want
For
to go
real.
eat. And the thing is that we have good food of every kind. We
Every
have good
kind.
Indian food, good Mexican food, good everything. When I
Good
go
Puerto
to
Rican
other
food,
states,
good
I'm
Cuban
like,
food, good seafood,
everything.
good.
When I tell you everything, when I go to other states, I'm like, this is your best restaurant. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
can't wait to
We
go
got
home.
this around the block. Our
We got
Yeah.
everything. Anything you want, you just say something and I'll be like, okay, we'll go here because right here is where they have
Yep.
the best this. Oh, you want that? We'll go here because they have the best this. I mean, we
Yep.
have everything good. On taco
And
skills,
tell them
man.
about Sultan Market. If you want Middle Eastern food, Sultan Market. Oh,
See, I'm telling you. And
everything.
you want Greek food, you want like you
We got you.
anything you want, we got it. We got it. And I'm not even kidding. I tell people that all the time because when I go to other states, I'm like, "Mm, mm." I actually lose weight when I leave
Yeah.
here. I lose weight, and when I come back, I'm like a little tubby again.
No, let me tell you, when I found out, I think, what is it? Tastes, I think it's multiple, because Taste of Chicago was like the 4th of July party. I believe it was a 4th of July
Hmm.
party before Taste,
Yeah, we used to
before
street
the,
perform there for years, man.
yeah.
We used to make good money
But
too.
if you go to Taste of Chicago, tastesofchicago.com, that's where you can get your Chicago hot dogs, your Chicago pizza,
Mm.
your Italian
Ain't
beef.
nothing, ain't nothing like a Chicago hot dog. Ain't
Listen,
nothing like it.
listen. And you know what's funny? Let's talk about that for a second. There's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, you're from Chicago, so no ketchup on the hot dogs." I said it depends on the hot dog.
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
I put ketchup only because I'm Puerto Rican. We eat ketchup with everything. I put ketchup on my egg. I put ketchup on my rice. I put ketchup on my pork chops. I put ketchup on my chicken. I will find something to put ketchup on. I'm
She's
not even. I
crazy.
put ketchup, and I know this is against the rules, the unspoken Puerto Rican rules, but I put ketchup on my pasteles. I put ketchup on
Oh,
everything.
wow. You have no rules.
You know why? Because I'm Lady Champ, and I do what I want.
You do
That was
what you
that's
want.
my for real. That's me.
Yeah.
I go by that because I always did what I wanted. I didn't listen to nobody. But that's how you
Right?
learn. You mess up and you're like, oh,
Exactly.
I guess I won't do that again. Or you know what? I
Exactly.
did it and it did and it worked. Like you gotta figure out
Yeah.
life. That's why it makes me sad that
Exactly.
these kids all have like anxiety and just go outside. If you fall, stand up. That's it. Dust your knees off, keep walking. Like, what are you
That's it.
scared of? They're scared of
That's it.
everything. Like they're scared of everything. And I'm like, man, yeah. We were never home, first of all. We're never home. We came home when it
You
got
know.
dark. Like we lived the weirdest life. Like if you really think about it, our parents never knew where we were. Like my mom never knew
No.
where we were.
No.
But I
You
made it home
couldn't
in time for
text.
yeah, we couldn't call, we couldn't text. I could beep you after a certain like we didn't have beepers when we were little. We got beepers when we were older,
Right.
but nobody knew where we were. Nobody knew what we were doing. That's
Yeah.
insane. Now
Yeah.
these kids are tracked. There's phones, there's text, there's, you know, like there's way to
They're
find
afraid
you,
to go
your
outside.
watch. Yeah, they want to sleep all day. I'm like, you're missing out the whole day, every day. Like,
Oh
I
my
get it, one
God.
day a week, Sunday, sleep in, but
Yeah.
every day, you know how much fun I had? Insane.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I think we
Especially,
kind of like we we sheltered them too much. Oh no, you can't go outside, you're gonna get kidnapped. Oh, you can't do this by yourself, you're too little. I was doing it. Why can't, like I think we did it wrong trying to protect the kids. I don't know if that makes sense.
yeah, babying them a little too much, and even
Yes.
even like if they're in sports and stuff like that, like not letting the coach do his job and stuff like that, you know.
No, the coach could
Um,
do his job. I don't believe in those everyone gets a trophy. That's insane. How are you going to teach them how to be competitive?
yeah.
And that's my thing. I was always competitive.
Yeah. And that's, that's training for the real world too, cuz like
Yes.
the world today, now that everything is always on the news all the time, we're starting to see that mentality is still here, and that no one
Yeah.
is coming to help you, no one is coming to, so until things change, you have to get in there, you have to get in the mix, you have to,
Hmm.
you know you
Just
can't it, you can't
enjoy
be
life.
you can't yeah, you can't be afraid. I talk to
And even if you
grown-ups.
are, you have to figure out, like, man, that didn't work out for me. Well, I'll try it this way, or I won't do that
Right.
again, but I'm going to
Right.
try this.
Yeah.
Don't give
don't
up.
be don't be afraid to make mistakes, just don't make the
Yes.
mistakes that are so big that they derail your whole show.
Yes. Yes.
Don't do
Yes.
that. But
Yeah.
like, if you go somewhere and if you take a shower and you don't have flip-flops, then
Yeah, exactly.
it's not it's
Lesson
not
learned.
over. It's not over. It might make the story a little harder to get through, but
Hmm.
your story, like, I talk about your story all the time, especially when people are like, "Oh my God, it's just so tough." And I was like, "I know one of my girls was out here. She couldn't walk.
Uh-huh.
You can't tell me
Hmm.
anything."
And it's crazy because until you lose something, you don't realize how much you need or how much you use it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, in my head, because I was always busy. I never wasted time. My
Yeah.
time was always taken up. I was doing something. So in my head, when I was in the hospital and I couldn't move, I was like, oh my God, I gotta go do groceries. And after that, I gotta go pick up the laundry. And after that, I have to go. And my mind was on 10. And that's why I had to learn how to meditate. I wasn't kidding. I had to learn how to, like, bring it down, honey, because you ain't going
Yeah.
nowhere for a long time. I had
Mm-hmm.
to learn how to ask for help because I did everything for myself because I was a single mom. I
Yep.
never asked people, hey, can you help me? Can you take me to here? Can you, help me do this with my kids? And never asked for help. Did it myself. I had to learn how to ask. Now I be asking for everything. I'm like, oh wow, can you give me that too? Oh, can you hand me that? Okay. I
Yeah.
was what else did I did? I didn't there was a lot of things that I had to learn how to do, and it was hard. It was hard to, like, ask for help. It was hard to, and it wasn't even that hard because when I asked for help, people were happy to help.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, here you
But
go.
that's the
And I was
thing.
like,
That's the thing. That was your learning exercise. Your learning
yes,
exercise, because again, we're both hard-headed, and that's a big thing for me
yes,
too, is not knowing or not being comfortable asking people for stuff, cuz
because we
I've been
grew up a
independent
different
for,
way.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we did everything
Yep.
ourselves. Like we were like, we'll figure it out. Our moms
Yeah.
figured it out. We figured it out.
Yep.
It's crazy, man. We had some interesting lives.
It's for real. For real.
Wow. But you know what
Yeah.
though? We were here. We made it. We made it out the neighborhood. You know, we lived, we learned, we're growing, we're
And we
just
push.
living life.
And now it's like, for me at least, it's reaching back, um to, because not for anything, but um, so I don't know if you saw on Instagram or whatever, but I wrote a script and I submitted it to some film festivals and won the whole film
Oh,
festival and everything.
cute.
And I was thinking to myself, it is not supposed to be this hard. It's not supposed to
Yes.
be um, where I'm trying to figure all this stuff out by myself and all this stuff. So I've reached out last year. I reached out to, maybe 2 years ago now, but I reached out to the principal of Roosevelt, trying to bounce some ideas off of them to be like, hey, um, let's teach these kids about how to create media and do stuff like that. And
I love that.
yeah, yeah. So that's still, they I don't know if the school understands how passionate I am about that, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna lady champ my way into that shit because
You should, because I always wanted to do that in my high school.
yeah,
I know, like I love giving back. Like I did the food pantry for like I think 15 years in Humboldt Park. I would
yeah,
I lived in Maywood at the time, and I would drive to Humboldt Park just to do the food pantry every month because that meant so much to me. And
yeah,
they stopped it, so we can't do it anymore. But I made amazing friends through that, and we used to give so much food to like over 200 families would come. Like that's a lot of
damn,
family. So
that
that was
is,
something that to be proud of. But I would
of
love to
course,
give back to my high school too.
yeah, yeah. It's not supposed to be this hard. I was on YouTube and I saw I when I was doing research on trying to reach out to the principal. I did a search for Roosevelt High School, Chicago, blah blah blah, and one of the videos was some kids were somewhat protesting, talking about how they lost their librarian due to budget cuts and all this stuff, and so they couldn't
Oh,
even they couldn't even go into the library because basically the
that's
school
sad.
couldn't afford a librarian.
That's so sad.
Yeah. And that's when I was just like, okay, I gotta focus and I gotta push and I gotta grow, my audience and stuff. So then that way
Mhm.
I can leverage all of that to getting back into Albany Park and like
Well,
building
I'll go.
something in
I'll
Albany
go with
Park.
you too. You
Yeah,
put me
man.
down on that list, and I'll speak on that panel or whatever. I'll be there.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Because people that little motivational story can go a long way. Plus our advice just growing up in the city, we can give so much
Yeah.
enlightenment to all these kids. They'll be like, "Wait, what? You guys did
Yeah.
lived like how? And you tried what? And it worked? And I don't have to be
Yep.
scared? No, don't be scared. Like you
Yep.
got this."
Yep.
So
And
you
that's
put me
just it.
down
Like,
whenever you decide to do that. I'm there.
oh, I'm in. And same. If you ever need me for anything, I'm
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 there. I'm not
I'm
even kidding.
froggy. I jump every opportunity.
I'll be like, he's not kidding. He jumped in here.
Yeah, for
He's
real.
serious.
For real.
Yeah, I'm down,
Just
man.
because it's not like I said, it's not supposed to be this tough. And I love being a resource for people that are trying to figure it out and make a difference. You know?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um going back to C4 Explosives, he wrote that song and it's talking about um change and paying attention to what's happening and blah 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 all
Is
this
that
stuff.
the video that I liked?
Yeah.
That song is good.
Right?
That song is good. There was a certain parts and I got chills. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, okay.
I'm gonna admit
Yeah.
something. I'm gonna admit something. Going back to like growing up in the city and being struggling and doing all the things, and for me, um, you know, growing up without, and then doing everything that all the adults ever told you.
Hmm.
Go to school, get an
Hmm.
education, and some of them were like, you gotta go into the military, and I did all the things. I did all the things, um, and then you get out the other end, and you're a little bit older now, and everything, and then you realize that holy cow, this game is fixed,
I like that. That's funny. I never thought of it like that.
right?
Yeah,
and
it
and
makes
I've
sense.
seen I've seen to and I've talked to and I've hung out with at all kinds of people, the haves and the
Hmm.
have-nots, the
Hmm.
all colors. I don't care. You're wrapped
Hmm.
up and you're not wrapped up. I don't care. I don't care who you are.
We all
Um,
bleed bread at the end of the day.
and hey, you're all God. We're all God's children too.
Hmm.
So that's how I was brought up,
Yep.
and
Us
that's
too.
and
Thank
that's
God.
my motivation now, is to go back and like I said, be a shortcut to some of the kids that were me in high
Hmm.
school. You
Hmm.
know, I didn't necessarily have, like, my mom did her best, right? But she has
Yes.
no idea what it is to be a man. She has no idea.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and so there's things that I had to figure out on my own. And again, like we talk about, we make mistakes.
Yeah. Man, that had to be rough though for a guy to grow up without the dad. Because yes, for a daughter, it is hard to grow up without a dad. But for a guy, who teaches you how to do things that the mom doesn't know how to do, Like,
And what's acceptable behavior,
yeah.
you know?
And I always give props to like my husband's dad. Great dad.
Yeah.
Been with the mom forever, always in his life, made him get up early on Saturday mornings to fix the car, made him,
Yeah.
like that's why he knows so much. He's like, man, and I used to be mad at him and get, curse and not, and he's like, now I regret talking like that to him, and he's my everything. And I'm like, yeah, babe, but when you're young, you're a little jerk, you're a little asshole. You just don't know shit.
Right.
So
Right.
you talk shit about
And
your
and
parents
and you
and
don't know, you don't take the 2 seconds to see it as a kid, you don't take the 2 seconds to reflect on what your parents have been through.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now that I'm older, you know, like, I can see where my parents made a mistake here and there, blah blah blah, but it was tough back then.
Was.
Yeah.
Man, I remember one time my mom got on the CTA bus with three little kids, one of them that she was still carrying, and then the my brother was a year younger than me, and I was little, and I remember she just started crying on the bus,
Uh-oh.
and the bus driver was like, "Oh, like, I'll help you," and I was a kid, and I didn't understand what was happening. But when I
Yeah.
grew up, I was like, man, she was a single mom and doing all this, and probably was like so
Just
frustrated. She
working.
just started crying. Man, that breaks
Mm-hmm.
my heart when I think about that. I'm like, oh, so
Yeah.
sad. We don't know her struggles. She never talked about it.
Right.
She doesn't say nothing.
Yeah.
My
What's
mom's a
what's
tough
there to
cookie
say?
though.
Yeah,
Oof.
my mom is too. My mom
Yeah.
is too. And then, like, imagine having my poor mom. Imagine having, um, for the most part, it was me and my brother, and then, 7 years later, we had my sister. Right, so it was the three of us plus my mom, and one of your kids was me. And now
Oh,
that
that's
I'm
so
older, I'm
funny.
like, yeah, I understand why I got those ass whoopings now.
Oh my God, I used to hate getting, that's another thing too. Why would you beat up your kid? Like my kids, I'm gonna tell you right now, I hit my kids maybe like mm, 2 to 4 times, maybe, maybe. It didn't feel right. I was like, there's gotta be a better way to teach these kids things. Like instead of hitting us and making us fear them, they should have been like,
Yeah,
no, papi, that's not how you do it. This is why you can't do that. Because if you do it, you get electrocuted and it hurts and then you could die. Like walk me
right.
through it. Don't beat me up because I'm still gonna do it whether you beat me up or not.
And that
Like
was my
that's
thing.
weird. You
And
don't
that
think
was
that was
my
weird,
thing.
like teaching or like weird way to grow up.
Yeah, but you have to understand like um our parents
Mhm.
I think like my grandmother, she made it through the Great Depression and everything was we're the way I like to describe it is in the 70s we were still coming out of the caves. We were still
Yeah.
everything was still very not like it is today. You know,
Yeah, it was different.
back in the
Yeah.
day, you would go to someone's house and knock on the door to find out that they're not there, and the only thing you had left to
Yeah.
do was go home because nobody
Yep.
was there. There was no text
Mm-hmm.
messages. There was barely telephone.
Yeah.
And so the
That's
frustration and
crazy.
stuff, and the rules were different and,
And
things were
honestly, it
different.
was so much easier. I feel like
Actually, yeah, life was easier back then.
I feel like, now we have computers, now we have this, now we have that. Like everything is basically in the palm of your hand now. Back then,
Yeah.
like if we needed to look something up, we had to go to the school encyclopedias to look up something. Like we lived that life. Like
Yeah.
we're weird.
You actually
Like
had to
we're
go somewhere to do something. You didn't virtually do
yeah,
anything. Yeah.
that's insane. We had to carry all these books from school. Now they get tablets. Like that's
Yeah.
the smartest thing right there that I would trade though. I would trade my books for a tablet.
100%.
But only use it in
100%.
school for class. I don't want it in my house. I
Yeah.
like if I could trade anything in, because man, those books they were heavy, and you had to have like
Hell
5 books
yeah.
because you had to do your history homework, your math homework, your English homework, your this homework, your that. So you had to take all these books. It was insane if you really think about it, man.
Yeah.
No wonder we were so
And now because
skinny.
I now because I have now because I have homework, now I also have scoliosis. Like what the hell?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, how did that happen? Like, what in the world? At least give me one homework from one class one day, like Monday reading, Tuesday
Right?
math. Don't give me all those books. What are you crazy?
Uh, now I got to
Poor
carry that.
kids,
And
man.
and especially in wintertime, you're trying to walk
Yeah. Oh,
home, the sun is going
hey, that
down, is like
no,
20
but that Chicago
below.
snow. Ooh,
Yeah. Now I have to
wait, it
carry
don't snow like
50
that no
pounds
more
of
though.
books.
That's for real. Remember when we were little, it used to snow a lot.
Yeah.
And we used
Yep.
to walk to school in knee deep snow. And now it barely ever snows.
That's crazy.
And these kids, they have to call up school if it's an inch of snow. And I'm like, man, you're
You
just
guys are
making these
wild.
kids worse. Because when they go to work in the future, they're going to be like, it snowed an inch. They're just messing up these kids, man. Mm-mm. I always
Yeah.
tell my kids know because I'd be like, mm-mm. We used to go to school and the snow was so deep. And then we used to go to school and our stuff was wet, but we didn't care. And then we used to go home and used to fight with snowballs until you got home. Like, and my cheeks used to be so red. And my mom never picked us up. We had to figure it out.
Yeah. My mom couldn't pick us up. She was at work.
Yeah,
She ain't got time for that. And
my mom never picked us up.
now kids are like, oh, I can't go to school. My parents aren't going to take me. How dare you?
See, and look at, I used to be that mom. I used to take my kids to school every day and pick them up. Whenever I
Yeah.
couldn't, they would just walk home or whatever. But I'll be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll take you to school. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
My
No, that's
babies,
just
they're
being
so
nice.
grown.
That's just being nice.
Yeah,
But yeah.
they're so grown.
Yeah. I was
Cute.
talking to my mom and I forgot what she say. She's like, I can't believe I'm this old and I can't believe that my kids are all, as old as we are.
Yeah,
And
grown.
so she's struggling. I hung out with my grandmother.
Oh,
Um,
how old is your grandma?
she's 99.
Oh my God, that's a blessing. I wish I had my grandma. None, I
Yeah.
don't have any grandparents.
I was hanging out with her in December when I went to Florida, and the first thing she did, she said hi, and then she busted out her phone and started showing me pictures of when she was young and cute. She said, I'm
Oh,
like, stop, you're still cute.
mm.
We're all old.
That's so
But
cute,
yeah.
man. I remember. the year that my mom turned 32. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, my mom is old. And I was like, and
Right.
now I'm gonna be 49 this year. And I was like, how dare you, Audi, talk shit about your mom? She was so young and she was vibrant, she was beautiful. And I said she was old. In my head, I didn't tell
Right.
her, but like, really, dude, 32?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was crazy.
Yeah. But even that, 32 was different back then too.
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, uh, we spent some time in Rockford because Chrysler was there and that's where all the jobs were, blah, blah, blah. So we spent
Hmm.
some time in Rockford. And I was going somewhere with that story, but I forgot.
Is that why your cousins live in Rockford?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Um, at one point, there was a big hiring thing that was happening in Beloit. And so a bunch of the Cubans moved out to Rockford to work there.
wow, that was
Yeah.
interesting.
And so growing up with a bunch of people that worked at factories and at the car factories and stuff like that, like you'd see like these guys they're just exhausted and they looked tired, and a lot of them that
Mm,
had body parts missing, like this finger was gone or the hand was gone because they got it stuck in the machinery somehow, blah
yeah,
blah 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 blah, all this stuff.
that's insane.
And I remember thinking, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no thanks. I'll pass.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
No, we are
That's
good.
insane. I didn't even know that there was like that big factory there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Um, was it Beloit? Yeah, I think it was Beloit. It's either Beloit or Belvedere. Maybe Belvedere. I don't know. I don't know. One of those two. It's on the way to Rockford.
Oh,
But if
I know.
you,
I live by Belvedere.
yeah, yeah, there's a big
Beloit,
Chrysler.
Beloit is in Wisconsin.
Okay.
My
Yep.
friend,
That's where
her
all the
dad has
kids would
a
go party.
bridge named after her, after him.
What? For
I
real?
was like, wait. I go, wait, what? He has the bridge is named after him? And she's like, yeah. And I was like,
Like it's
wait,
no big
wait.
deal.
Yeah. He was the first African American in Wisconsin on like in like the political in everything that you can think of, the
Yeah.
army. He was the first African American to be a Freemason.
What?
His his a book when he died, a book, they give you the paper or page.
Uh huh.
He had a book.
Damn.
Like they
All
even
the things
did
that
it. They
he
had the
accomplished.
yes. He broke grounds. He broke records, and I was like, "Girl, you're like famous. Like what? Your family's famous." And
Yeah.
he, for when he passed away, he died at like 105 or something.
Wow.
The Freemasons had to come and do a ceremony and everything. It was insane. The army came and did a ceremony. The
That's badass.
city came and did like he was just famous mind, and his mind was still sharp. Like it
Yeah.
was insane,
Yeah.
insane.
That's
But I wish that I
that's
would have met
amazing.
him because he seemed like he had a lot of good stories
Yeah.
with all that he accomplished. Man,
You want to talk about challenging times back in the day, doing anything while being black specifically,
hmm
you know.
it's
So it's
sad.
impressive. It's impressive. And again, like if you move in your life with no fear and just go about it, and again, step one step after the other. That's all you have
Mhm.
to do, and all of a sudden they name a bridge after you.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
couldn't believe his accomplishments. And then on top of that, to be like brown, like that's insane. Like I was like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, and he was the president of this, and he was the this and that, and he was in charge of this. And I was like, wait, and on top of it, in Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Nah, I was like, what? Like this is insane. Yeah, I
Wisconsin was the
know he
first
had some
place.
stories.
Wisconsin was the first place that I was called the N bomb.
Really, I could see that
Yeah. Yeah.
because, yeah,
I'm like,
Wisconsin is
okay,
not.
we're good. We're
Mm,
good with Wisconsin then.
mm, mm. Dude, did I ever tell you about the time that I went to Cincinnati, Ohio?
Tell me.
Oh, it was 1999, summer of 1999. We went to Scribble Jam. It's a big breaking event that they used to throw back in the day.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Scribble Jam.
and I passed out, or I almost passed out because it was so hot because this was in the middle of nowhere. And then
Jesus.
all of a sudden I got real pale and I passed out. Or I almost passed out.
Yeah.
And I needed to eat. So I go to my kids. I was like, hey, let's go eat. And then one of the guys in the crew, he was like, yeah, I'll come too, you know. So I'm Puerto Rican, my kid's dad is Puerto Rican, and then we would have when with Anthony, he's black. So we're all like young from Chicago, gonna go
Yeah.
eat, so we're just driving because this is in the middle of nowhere. And then we see like one of those diners. So we pulled up and then we walk in and the waitress sees us and she just walks past us and we're like, okay, but it says wait to be seated. So we're
Yeah.
like, okay. So we're waiting. They're looking around, I'm looking around and I see all the people eating and I'm seeing that white people are coming in after us and she's seeing them. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, no, like somebody better seat us. So she kept going up to this guy and then he'll look at us and he'll go, no, no. And she's like, she looked at me like real sad, like she wanted to help us, but she couldn't.
Yeah.
And my kid's dad, he's like, let's get out of here. Like he seems so scared. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why? No, they better seat us. That's not fair, you know? And he goes, let's get out of here now. He goes, look up. And I looked up. I don't know how we didn't see this. I look up and straight ahead, like, as soon as you walk in, there's like a post, and on the post, on a neon green poster in black Sharpie, the thick one, it said, "We do not serve colors." Do you believe that they did not serve us at
What?
all? We ended up having to leave 1999. I I cried. I don't think it hit me then. When I got home, I cried. I cried for everybody's struggles. I cried for everyone who ever had to go through anything like that. I cried and I felt the ancestors coming through. I cried for them. I cried. I cried not for just me, just because I cried because I experienced it, yeah, but I
Yeah.
cried for them. I cried for anybody who had to go through any racial profiling like that, or got beat up, or got killed, or got hung, or I cried for them. I cried. And I,
Yeah.
I wasn't just crying like, my tears. I was like, I had my hands in my face and I was like, I was crying. I was
Yeah.
crying. Man, 1999. It
And
wasn't like I could see like the
still doing
70s
that.
maybe, but 1999,
Yeah.
I cried.
Oh.
I cried for everyone, everyone, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but could you believe that? That's insane.
That is insane. Especially in 1999. Because, yeah, like in the 70s, it was still prevalent. It was still very racist like that. Everyone was still openly talking dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
But 1999,
Mm-hmm.
come on.
I was like, huh? And we're from a big city, so you don't really experience like racism like that, like so I
Openly.
was like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, I've never experienced. I've seen racist stuff or comments, but like that was
Yeah.
insane, insane.
Yeah. There was one time. What mall is that? Out by Berwyn, the big mall right there.
Okay, I know. Not
I
Riverside.
forget. Is it
It's
Riverside?
it's further, right? It's further, I think.
Yeah, whichever one. There's a mall out there just outside Berwyn. It used to be. It's like across the street from where that stack of cars used to be. But um, there's an Olive Garden there, and my mom and my sister went there, and my sister's half black, and when they finished, my mom and sister finished their dinner, and my mom went to the bathroom, and my sister went to pay, and one of the one of the people that were cleaning up the table and stuff. And this is what's sad. It was a Mexican lady that was cleaning up the table, and she said to the other person that was working there, "Keep an eye on her. These people like to run out on the bill." But she said it in Spanish, not
Oh, that's
understanding that my sister
sad.
knew exactly what she said.
Dito.
And when my mom came out, my mom saw my sister in a heated debate.
Oh, your sister said something?
Yeah, she did. And then my
Oh my
mom, and then my mom went in, and she went nuts, cussed her all up and down.
damn.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
messed up.
yep.
But
So it's just
it's
wild things
everywhere.
like that. I can't wait. I can't wait. And that's a good thing. You know, people complain about the internet and stuff, but the good thing about the internet is it's starting to expose people to our cultures and different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to see that, it's not what they're telling you. It's just not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and it's gonna be a great day when all these folks get their head out of their asses and realize that
Mm-hmm.
the more difference you have, the more different cultures you have, that just the better everything is.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I tell
it's
people that's one reason I love New York. It's a melting pot of everyone's culture and it's accepted. Like here it's a
yeah,
little different. We're more intensified and it's a little different. But in New York, you will go to the Bronx, you're gonna get some Puerto Rican stuff, food products. You go to Washington Heights, you're gonna and you go to Jamaica, this part of Jamaica, like and, and all the food is amazing. The
yeah,
culture, the music, the people, oh, so beautiful. I think it's so beautiful.
yeah. I agree.
It's just sad when
I
people are
agree.
so stupid and closed-minded that they're like, it's my country. But like we were all born here. Shut the fuck up. Your ancestors came from somewhere else too, buddy.
Right, right. And not for
Like they didn't
anything,
just
but ain't
appear here.
nobody's leaving. So get used to it, or
Exactly.
go back to where you come from.
And you know what I love when I see like be on TikTok and there'll be like some straight up country ass white boy talking about hell yeah, I be listening to the Mexican music and I know how to eat the food because my boys be teaching me and I love the
Right.
culture, and this is and I'm like,
Yep.
hold up. What?
Yep.
Like damn boy.
You
See
see
that
that?
to me is impressive. Like I'm impressed by that.
Yeah. Have you seen the videos where the white boy goes to the black cookout?
No,
Oh, I'm gonna have to
no.
find it and send it to you because it's hilarious.
It's
It's
so cute.
hilarious.
I think it's so nice. Just, like when I get invited to like other like coworkers and they're Indian or they're Mexican or they're
Yeah.
whatever, I go and I'm like, wow, what is this? And they're like, oh, this is this and this is we make this for this and what is this? Oh, and the music and the just the vibe, you have to
Oh yeah.
appreciate other cultures.
Oh
So
yeah.
beautiful.
And not for anything, but if you've ever get the opportunity to go to an Indian wedding, the ones
Awesome.
that last 3 days.
And I hear that like they dress so nice too.
Yeah, I still have one of I forget what they call it, but the outfits that they wear at the wedding, it's super
Yeah.
clean, it's super stylish, and they
Wow.
hand sew everything and blah 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 all that stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I have one of my outfits still. I stood up at two Indian weddings, and
Wow.
yeah, and one of them I had to give the outfit back, and the other one was my outfit. So I still have
Oh,
it
I
around
like
here
Indian
somewhere.
food too.
Oh, Indian food is amazing.
Yes.
And
And I'm
yeah, like
telling
once
you,
you,
if you gotta try it. And a lot of times you try it and you're like, oh, this tastes like the sweet tostones. Oh, this
yeah,
tastes like, this tastes like this. Oh,
yep,
it's the same thing. It's just made a little different. And you're just like, oh, it's just noodles. Like
yeah,
it's just it's a beautiful thing. I
yeah,
love. other cultures and other musics and other foods and other. I just
Yeah.
love everyone.
Right. Just makes
Yeah,
everything better.
it's easy. Life is easy.
Yeah.
We're all
Like steak and
here.
potato.
Let's live together.
Steak and potatoes is good. Hamburgers are good.
Mm.
But let
Mm-hmm.
me tell you, let me hit you with some of my mom's arroz con pollo so I can change your life. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna
Ooh,
make
with
you
some
some
beans
yuca.
on the top and a little the juice of the bean. Oh,
Let
oh.
me make you some, let me change your life and make you some fried yuca, yuca frita,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
tostones, maduros,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff.
I
Boy,
love
come on, son.
tostones. But there was one time I ate too many of them in 1 week when I went to visit my aunts. I ate
Here we
tostones.
go.
I ate what's the other ones that they make? They smash it and they put the onions and stuff in it. Mofongo, mango.
Mofongo. Yep.
I had I because my Dominican family, I know it's a stereotype, but they literally eat plátanos every day.
Yeah.
And I came back. I couldn't even look at at a plátano. I was so I overdid it. Like I know it's
I
impossible
have
to
never
overdo
made,
it.
I have never had to live through that unfortunate time in my life. Never.
And
Bring it.
yes, I do put ketchup on them. I put ketchup on my tostones. I do. They taste so good. They're
Ketchup on
amazing.
tostones. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I don't even know
Not
what to
even
say to you
kidding.
anymore.
I'm telling you, I'm very strange. But try it. It tastes so good. But I
Yeah.
love ketchup. I'm telling you, I love ketchup.
Hey, let me tell you this one. I was making I was hungry for a Cuban sandwich. And
Oh, I love Cuban sandwiches.
In Sonoma there's not there's Mexican food and then there's like farm to table type of places, right? There's no
Mm.
tropical food at all. And so I started making my own Cuban sandwiches.
Yeah. Ooh, I
Yeah.
never thought about making my own.
Yeah. I make my
Do you make it
bread.
legit though? Like legit?
Yeah. I roast I don't make ham cuz ham just comes like ham.
Yeah, but you could buy it.
Yeah. But I cook my own pork shoulder. I make my own bread.
Oh my God.
Um what else? The Swiss cheese. You know, I buy the Swiss cheese,
Oh
I
my
buy the ham,
goodness.
the
Oh
mustard,
my
and all that
goodness.
stuff, right? So then
Yes.
I was making them, and someone was like, um, "Hey, has anyone ever asked you to put mayonnaise?" And I said, "If you don't get the hell out of my kitchen."
Oh my God. You know what? This is the reason I love Cuban food. I grew up on North Avenue in Kimball. And on
Oh
North
yeah,
Avenue and Kimball, on the corner, there used to be like an Ace store. And
yeah,
in that Ace store, there was a man with a grill, like that flat grill.
yeah,
And I went in there to make my mom a tea. And I saw a guy ordering a Cuban sandwich because you can eat there too. And I was like,
yeah.
huh? And then I saw that he paid like $2 and something. And I was like, I can get $2 and something. And then I bought one. Oh my God.
Right.
How was the Cuban sandwich created? How, and why?
This is
I
wonderful.
ate that shit like every day. Every day I was in there. Oh my God. How? And you know what? I've never, to this day, tasted a Cuban sandwich like that one. Yes,
Yeah,
I've had good ones, but not like the way when I was little.
yeah.
It was amazing. I'm gonna cry right now thinking about how good it was.
Shoot. Hell yeah. My Cuban
Oh.
sandwich is so good. There's this guy here in town. He owns his own wine,
Mm.
his own winery, whatever. And I help him out. I do videos and stuff for him to help promote his wine and stuff.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Get it? Wine, sweet. Yeah.
Uh, and I was making Cuban sandwiches. This guy is originally from New York, and he came out here and he started his own wine label and everything. And so I made him a sandwich, and he sent me. By the time I got home, he had sent me a text message, and he said, "This is possibly the best Cuban sandwich I have ever had.
Wow.
And I said, "Really? You liked it that much?" He had eaten. I gave him two sandwiches. One was for him, and one was for the tasting room manager. And the owner,
Wow.
not only by the time, I live not that far from where his tasting room is, like maybe 10, 15 minutes. By the time I got home, he had finished the first sandwich. He texted me telling me how delicious it was. And then
Wow.
and then I said, "You make sure you give that sandwich to the other guy." He said, "No, too late. I already opened it up. The first half is gone."
Wow. Wait, do you buy the bread or you make the bread?
I make it.
Okay, because I just bought yeast because I want to learn how to make bread, right? Is it
Yeah.
hard?
To make Cuban bread? No. No. It's a the thing about bread, because I used to make sourdough bread too.
Okay.
The thing about bread is it's you gotta want to make it.
I want to
You
make it.
gotta Yeah, you gotta want to, because it takes a lot of time. Like for the Cuban bread, you start by mixing warm water and the yeast together, and
Hmm.
then you put it in a little container and you put it in the fridge overnight.
Damn, overnight?
Yeah,
Okay.
because so the way that it works is yeast is basically a bacteria that's in the air everywhere.
Yeah.
And so then when you mix flour and water, the yeast is already there. And so yeast likes to eat um, flour, and it turns it, it'll eat and it gets bubbly and all the stuff, right? And
Hmm.
that's what that's what helps make the bread. So when you put the yeast in there, you're basically waiting for it to wake up, and then when you go back in there the next day, it's all big and foamy and stuff like that. And then you mix it in with more flour, more water, a little bit of salt. And then
Yeah.
that's sourdough. Sourdough is the process or the ingredients is easy because it's only flour, water, and salt.
And it tastes so good.
So good.
The sourdough bread is so good.
Yeah. And then Cuban bread, it's flour, water, salt, some lard, some sugar.
Oh, damn. So I need to buy lard.
If you're gonna make Cuban, I'll share with you the recipe, so then that way it'll make sense. But um, and I YouTube University, I was hungry for
For
Cuban bread.
real?
I was hungry for Cuban bread. My Cuban bread is
For
so good.
real.
Now that I'm bragging, my Cuban bread is so good. I used to have this Cuban dude that lived a few houses down. He was originally from Miami, grew up in New York. He came out to live in California for a little while, and I said, "Hey, bro, you want some Cuban bread? I got some here. I made some here." He's like, "Well, you made it." He came over and he took a bite and he looked at me. He goes, "Man, this tastes just like Cuban bread." I was like,
Damn.
"That's why I call it Cuban bread."
Wow.
Yeah, my Cuban bread is pretty amazing. The Cuban sandwiches are good.
I know. Every time I go to Miami, I go to that popular restaurant. I get me and I don't even care. I'll go by myself. I don't care. I get me a Cuban sandwich and a
Yep.
fresh squeezed orange juice, and I will
Let's
sit
go.
there and enjoy the hell out of it.
Yep.
And I take my time because you want to enjoy the each bite, the taste, the just, and then it gives me the reminiscing about being a kid again. And then, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna cry right
Yeah.
now. I'm just gonna cry. That's all. Damn, that shit is dope.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I was in Miami late last year, and we went to Calle Ocho and everything.
Yes,
Um,
that's where I get my sandwich from,
yes, ma'am.
and it's so
Yes, ma'am.
good.
It's so good. So I
Yeah.
keep threatening to open my own Cuban restaurant out here,
And
because if I
honestly,
did that,
I
I'd
think you
make a killing.
should, but
I'd
just
make a
basic, just
killing.
Cuban sandwiches and just this, that's it.
Yep.
And
Cuban
even get a little
sandwiches
food
and
truck.
Malta.
You know what? A lot of people don't like Malta. I feel like I'm the only person that likes Malta.
No, I grew up on that stuff.
Oh my God, it's so
Yeah,
good.
you gotta
I
want it.
bought one last month because I usually when I go to the city, I go to the fruteria on Armitage and Kimball. And I always
Yep.
get my little fixings over there. You got to get your sazon, you got to get your this, that. So I get all my stuff because they don't sell it out here. I live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I bought me a Malta. I buy me one of those, what is it called? The sweet thing with they put that little powder on it and it has like that jelly inside or whatever it is. I forgot what it's called. Pastelillo.
Oh,
And
pastelitos. Oh, hell
yes,
yeah.
and I get the churros.
Churros, yeah.
Because they got those there too. So
Yeah.
because all my Spanish stuff, I gotta get it out there. So
Yeah.
I be bringing all that stuff back here, and I be all happy with my stuff.
You should be. Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And that's one of my when it probably happens kind of everywhere, but if you're traveling around Chicago and you see one of these Spanish grocery stores, more times than not they're going to have some kind of diner or something that's attached to it. Just go in the back and do not
Mm-hmm.
hesitate to get literally anything they have out there. Literally
Mm-hmm.
anything. Cool
And there's a
boy.
lot of hidden gems, man. Like, but
Mhm.
you have to, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of hidden gems, those little restaurants inside of the store or in the back
Yep.
of they're there.
When I was a kid,
Mm-mm-mm.
my grandmother used to live off of Carmen and Clark.
Mhm.
And
By
right
Wrigley?
around the just north of Wrigley, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was a grocery store called Panamericana
Mhm.
right there on Clark. Oh boy. Anytime I had any kind of money, I'd run over there and get me some grub. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I love Spanish food. I love it.
Wait, where did your grandma live?
My grandmother's originally from Santo Domingo, and then
Hey, I
yeah,
swear.
and then
We're
she
so
went to New
related.
York. Yeah, we probably are. Um, we went to, or she went to New York, and then she went to Chicago, and she always lived on the north side, and then she went to Rockford for a little bit, and she came back to Chicago. I grew up always in between Rockford and Chicago. We lived one
Wow.
place or the other, the one place or the other. We were always going
Yeah, because
back
I
and forth,
heard
back and
that
forth.
back in the days that uh Puerto Ricans used to all live right there by Wrigley.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Yep.
wait, what?
Yeah.
So you think that your grandma was one of them
She
that lived
was.
in there?
She was.
Because
She
I
lived
heard
off
this
of.
before and I was like, no way, in Wrigley. And they're like, yeah. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was in high school, Wrigleyville was still kind of, that was. It wasn't quite Spanish anymore. It
Hmm.
wasn't. It was more. It started turning into kind of. Well, now it's more like Times Square or some shit, but
Yeah.
back before they gentrified it all the way. Um, it was the young professionals and people that were partying a lot and blah blah blah, and they'd go to
Like
the
me.
bar. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did my time out there.
I mean, you have to. You have to at least go once because I know there's Sox fans that don't like Wrigley, but you have to do the Wrigley experience. At that time, you could just
You
go to
have
bar
to.
to bar to bar to bar to bar to bar, and by the
Yep.
time you left it, you were messed up.
Yep. Yep.
That's good
Yep.
times.
But yeah, 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 yeah. And they have everything there too, because you can go to
Yep.
Cubby Bear, you can and
Yep.
chill there. And we did not we. I was there when rest in peace Mike One. Mike One did a show at Cubby Bear, and that was open music live music and stuff like that. And then you can go
Hmm.
next door to like Sluggers, and you can get drunk and do the batting cages. And then you can go down to
Man.
you can go to the reggae place that's right there. And then you go to the Mexican joint over there. You get those, what was it called? El Jardín, I think. And you can get these margaritas at one of them
Oh,
would,
yeah. Oh my God.
remember?
Yes.
Those
Yes.
margaritas, boy, one of
Been
those,
there.
and they're probably calling the cops on you.
Yup. Been there.
Yep.
Yup. Mm. And my
That place
margarita
was
was
wild.
so good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh my God. I remember this is how ghetto we were. And we went to Wrigley, me and my friend, she had tickets, and her boss used to give her tickets all the time. I was like, man, I like your boss, but she don't work there no more. Um, so we are going into the, you know how you go into the front door, the gates.
Yeah.
This mother effer, she had a Bacardi, the not the little one, and not the medium tiny one, the big long one
Yeah.
in her bag. And they look at your bag. So she's like, oh shit. She put that shit in the back of my pants. And I
Oh.
was like, and I went through, I got through, but I was like, bitch, you could have got me banned from here. Like, you know, we were so messed up. We kept buying those lemonade
Yeah.
slushies,
Yeah.
and pouring just tons of Bacardi in there.
Yeah.
We were so messed up, but we had so much fun. I had a blast, but she could have got me kicked out, man. They would have been like, "Bitch, you're banned forever." I could have been like crying.
Yeah.
What are you doing to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Shoot,
crazy.
some of my earliest memories of Wrigley would be like, anytime any one of my uncles on either side, mom's side, dad's side, didn't matter. The uncles would come and they'd scoop me and my brother up, and then they would take us to Wrigley.
Oh,
And
that's
one
so
time,
sweet.
yeah, yeah, except this
That's when
one
tickets
time,
were like $5,
it was easy to get into.
and
Like they were,
tickets were like $5.
yeah, yeah. And I remember sitting there as a kid, and some guy was in standing room only. He's putting his feet on me. He had taken his shoes off. He's
Ah,
putting, and I'm looking at him like, bro. But I was like eight,
ah,
9, 10, so I can't really be like,
ah.
get your nasty feet off of me. So I'm like, I tell my uncle, I was like, hey, can we do anything about this? Like,
Oh, that's gross.
yeah, it was gross.
What did he do? Did he tell him something? I would have been like, "Hey, get your foot off my nephew."
Yeah. Nah, we
Oh,
just, I think it was kind of close to the end of the game, and the Cubs were getting spanked anyway. So he was like, nah, let's just go. This is
ew.
this is back when they were struggling.
Yeah, I would have been grossed out. My brother in the early 90s when we were in high school, he would go by himself to the games. And I swear
Yeah.
to God, he would just pay like $5 a ticket. And he would go, but then people would tell him like, "Hey, do you want my tickets? I'm not coming tomorrow." And they'd give him his tickets. I remember I was in school in high school, and I was
Uh-huh.
like, "Look!" They showed my brother, and I was like, "That's my brother!" And I was like, "Wait, he should be here." And I was like, "He should be in school." But they were giving him tickets for like they were like, "I'm not coming tomorrow. You can have them." And he was like, "Okay."
Hell
And
yeah.
look, he was a freshman. Let's say he was 13, 14 years old by
Yeah.
himself at Wrigley Field. My mom had no
God,
clue. That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's
that's
hilarious.
insane.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
insane. This is how we live. This is how we grew up, man. That's crazy. And I used to be like,
But we're stronger
yeah,
for it, and we have fun stories to tell,
yo.
and we're
I
still
swear, when I
alive.
needed to
That's
find my
crazy.
brother, I would turn on the TV and I'll be like, let me see if he's at the Cubs game. Yeah, and he's still a diehard Cubs fan.
As well, he should be.
Hmm.
Yeah, and now you got the Pope. You remember when they
Yeah.
said, "Hey, the Pope is from Chicago"? We're like, "Yeah." He's like, "No, he's actually from like Downers Grove or something." I'm like, "Oh man."
He's a Chicago fan though. He loves the sports. Hey,
Yeah.
that's dope.
Well,
I was
and
like,
that was the other
okay.
one. That was the other one. They said he's a Cubs fan. I was like, "Hell yeah." Oh no, just kidding. He's a White Sox fan. I was like, "Oh, come on."
Oh my God, I gotta tell you about that though. Okay, so when I met my husband, he's a diehard Sox fan. Diehard.
Yeah.
I was a diehard Cubs fan because my dad loved, even though he lived in New York, he did
Yeah.
not like the Yankees. He lives right by the Yankee Stadium. He did not like the
Crazy.
Yankees for shit.
Yeah.
And he loved the Cubs. So my dad loved the Cubs. I love the Cubs. And then
Yeah.
since my brother was always at Wrigley and he loved the Cubs, I loved the Cubs. And then, I would go to the games and, you grow up in Chicago, you're a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
So I met my husband and I was like, I swear to God, we almost broke up. That was like the big deal breaker. It was like a big deal. And we were like, so should we stay together? Like, this is not right, you know? And then I was like, it's okay. It's not like we go to the games all the time.
Yeah.
And so one day he's like, yeah, come to the Sox game. He bought tickets and stuff. And I was like, I guess I'll go. And I was just like, ugh, I don't even want to be here. And then and then we would go again. And I got used to the park, but I was not trying to wear a shirt. He bought me a
Yeah.
shirt. He I did First of all, I didn't put that shirt on for like months. Months. And when I try to put it on, I swear to you, I'm not even lying. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not kidding. I was itching. I was like, take it off. Take it off. I had to take it off. I couldn't put it on. And
Yeah.
then and then one day I went to a Sox game and I wore the shirt and it looked cute. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, it's not that bad. It doesn't hurt today. And then now I'm a Sox and a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
But I swear
That's
to
my
you
thing.
that shit burned. It burned. It burned my skin. It burned. And I know people won't believe it when I say it, but I was itching. I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with this?
This is
And I was like,
terrible.
see, if I had a Cubs shirt on, it wouldn't burn.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's
But now
all I'm saying.
we love all Chicago teams. If you want us to go to the Bears, we'll go there. You want us to go to the Bulls. If you want us to go to the Chicago Dogs game, the Chicago Fire, I don't care. We go to all of them. We don't
That's me
care.
too. That's me too.
Yeah, it's fun.
I make fun of the White Sox just because it's fun. Because,
It is.
it's just part of growing up on the north side,
Yeah.
But
And
if
it's funny because
you,
people will be like, "Oh, I can't believe," because my husband has Sox plates on my car because I got a black car,
yeah,
and people are like, "I can't even believe you have that." I'm like, "Calm down, it's just sports." Because some people get mad, and I'm like, I
right?
always tell them that, and then people stop to think, and they're like, "Damn, I am getting mad for no reason," And I'm like, "Calm down," and I always say it like that too. I'm like, "Calm down, it's just sports," and
It's
then they're like,
just sports.
"Damn." They're like, damn, I'm getting all like worked up and shit. And she's right. Not
Yeah,
that serious.
it's really not. It's really not. The way I tell people is, I bust White Sox fans, I bust their chops and stuff just because it's fun. It's part of growing up in the city, blah blah blah.
And
But
it's funny because
at the end of the day, the Cubs have never written me a check. They've never invited me. They've never done anything like that. So if you want to come beat me up because of Cubs and White Sox and all that stuff, I'm good. You win.
yeah, no, yeah, it's not even
It's
that
not
serious.
that
I always say the
serious.
same thing. I'm like, it's just sports. And
Yep.
I feel like people feel like stupid for that moment, like, oh, damn, I was going to start this big old fight.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they all get along when the Bears start to play because there's no more baseball. So they all get along.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
so bizarre, but it's so real.
Yeah. Yep.
Amazing.
Yep.
See
That's how
that?
I try to describe it to people that don't get it. Like if you don't grow up in Chicago, let me say it like this. If you don't grow up in a city that has a lot of sports and that it's a sports town,
Mm-hmm.
you don't understand it. San Francisco is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that.
New
They don't
York.
really, it's kind of like they're more fair weather fans. If the teams are winning, people pay attention kind of thing.
Yeah,
In
but look in New York,
LA
they got the Yankees and
and the Mets.
Mets,
Yeah.
and everybody makes fun of the Mets. Like they'll be like, "They're not a real team," and I'm like, "Calm down, it's just sports."
Just
I
sports.
don't, I just, I like them both. I guess I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
I
Like
don't
the
care.
LA the Dodger fans, they're legit. They love the Dodgers. They love the Dodgers. Um but the Chargers, I haven't seen anyone really be really excited that the Chargers are there. I haven't
True.
seen the Rams are there. I haven't seen anyone really. They still, if anything, they still root for the Raiders. And the Raiders are in Las Vegas now.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Raiders. I like the Raiders only because the clothes, the gear, and
Yeah, yeah.
what's that group from over there they used to wear it all the time? NWA.
NWA.
Man, they
Yep,
used to rock that shit hard.
they did. Yep. Between the Raider stuff and the White Sox stuff,
Yeah, and
they
that's what we
they
always were
rocked
like.
white.
That's dope that they always wore the sock stuff, but they weren't even from here.
Yeah, it's because of the color
The
scheme.
colors. Yeah.
Yep.
That movie was good though, Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, it's
Really
so
good.
good. It was so good.
I know. And every time it comes on, I watch it. I'm like, oh my God, it's so good.
Yep.
And it was perfectly made. Like there's no flaw in the movie. Like
Yeah.
as in like the acting, the scripts, like
Mm-hmm.
I heard that one of the Sox hats was a new one, not the old one.
Yeah.
But I don't care because I don't notice that shit. So the movie was perfect.
It was so good.
Whoever wrote it and picked the actors, oh my God,
They killed it. They really did.
amazing.
Oh, over the weekend, not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, there was a music festival here. So I got to see Ice Cube. I got to see Public Enemy. Uh, who else was there? I didn't get to see the other guy. Who was the other
Oh,
guy
that
though? I
would have
can't
been
remember.
so dope.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah. So I got all charged up on my NWA and Public Enemy and 80s hip hop,
Yeah,
and oh, it was so good. It was so
I
good.
know. I could imagine.
Yeah.
Wow, I would love to see them.
It was so good. So hey, we've been talking for just over 2 hours.
Yeah, I believe it. I totally believe it. I totally believe it.
We have to do it again.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I go back
Um,
July 7th, so you have me till then.
all right, cool.
And then when
And
I do
then
go
we
back to
definitely
work,
have to.
we'll just set up dates to like if I'm off, I'll be like, yeah, let's talk at this time. I have some free
Cool.
time,
Cool. Yeah,
but I'll
I'm
go
down.
back to work in July. I'm free. Start
I'm
drawing
down.
cartoons. Let's get to work. I can't wait for the next skit.
Yeah, we gotta. I got a few things. I'm cooking a few things up.
Please.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. There's a few things. There's a few more scripts that I wrote for my Second City class, so I gotta dust those guys off and get them ready, and we'll
Yeah,
figure
put them
something
out
out.
there. Put as many videos out there as you can.
Yeah. So hey, if people want to catch up to you and everything that's going on and your social media accounts and stuff like that, let people know how they can find you.
You can find me. I am Lady Champ on, let me see. On Facebook, I'm under Auristela Nunez Lady Champ. On Instagram, I am under Lady Champ One. No, Lady Champion One. Oh.
Lady Champion One. Mm-hmm.
On Snapchat, Lady Champ. On TikTok, I think I'm under Lady Champion or Lady Champ. But I'm everywhere. And I always reply. So if people reach out to me, I do reply.
Awesome. I'm
And
gonna.
yeah,
I'll dig up all the things and I'll put them in the description of this video too. So then that way, if people want to get motivated, this is the person you want to talk to.
ah,
You. This
thank
is the
you.
person. She's a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you for hanging out.
I know, I always have fun and I feel like I'm there with you.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, I always have fun.
I'm glad. It's
But you make
yeah,
it
it's
fun. And then
fun.
you're so Chicago, you make me so proud. I'd be so proud. I'm like, man, he's so fun. He's from Chicago. That's why.
That's right. Yeah. We're built different. Chicago people
Yep,
are built different.
facts.
We're just anyone from Chicago, like Chicago. Oh, let me tell you this real quick. I got to go film a racing team, off-road racing team like last month.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so uh and so where was I going with that? My old ass brain.
It has to be good.
we were just talking about Chicago. We were just talking about, what were we just talking about? People from Chicago.
Yeah, you
Anyway,
make me proud, man.
yeah. Anyway, I'll think about it and I don't know. I'll save it for the next conversation.
Oh man.
I forgot. I
Okay.
completely forgot the story I was going to tell. Anyway,
I hate when that happens.
oh, it happens all the time now.
I know,
Yeah.
which is scary because I'm like, this didn't used to
We're
happen
racking
this
up the
much.
miles.
Mm-hmm. You
Anyway,
know it.
thank you so much for hanging out. And
Thank you
if
for
you're
having
watching this
me.
video, thank you for spending the time to learn more about Lady Champ. I'm telling you, she's definitely an inspiration. So please
No,
do
thank
yours.
you.
Yeah. So with
Thank you for
that,
supporting me and thank you for supporting all Chicago artists. Thank you for supporting Chicago because you are a true like Chicagoan. You love your city.
uh, every chance I get, I put someone on Chicago on.
That is a beautiful thing.
C4 Explosives is from Chicago.
Yes,
One of the
that
movies
video.
One of the movies that I got in a film festival had featured Rita J, who's a rapper from Chicago. It's got Rubber Room, a
Hey.
monster group from Chicago.
Yeah, old
Um,
school.
yeah, and then if you look on my list of videos, there's one where I went down to LA. B-Boy B called me up and was like, "Hey, we got a graffiti battle happening down here. You want to
That's
come
so
film it?" And
cool.
then I filmed it, and not for anything LA, but even the Chicago YouTube videos are better than the stuff you guys are putting out. I'm just throwing that out there, talking my shit. The Shy
Man,
for
that's
life,
awesome.
baby.
I'm telling you, for real, you are for real a true Chicagoan. You are. You make me
We out
so
here talking
proud.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how we do.
that's how we do. All right.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you later.
Coconut justice.